Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. In this video I will talk about the perfect Android experience I hope to see on Pixel phones. I still want Google's version of Android to keep its simple and straightforward identity, but I think it's missing a lot of useful features that are long overdue. And there is a room of improvement in other areas as well, so let me show you what I've got. Let me start with the missing features, and here I will use iOS and the One UI as a reference. Starting with the lock screen, I would love to see the same inline editor of One UI and iOS on Android, which makes more sense to me. On Android, it takes you to the Wallpaper and the Style app with a smaller preview of your lock screen, and to edit anything you have to jump from page to page, which takes more steps for doing something simple. The second most obvious request is the lock screen widgets, but it seems like Android 16 is getting this feature, which I'm really excited about. Mesha Rahman managed to enable the functionality on Android 16 beta as shown now on the screen. You can access the lock screen widgets by swiping left with multi-pages support, and I like this implementation more than iOS and One UI, as these tiny widgets with limited space doesn't do much. So well done Google for bringing it back. Another one expected to come to Android 16 which is currently missing is the live updates, which is something I hope to see as soon as possible. A couple of days ago I ordered food on my iPhone and I was happy to see a live update for my order on the lock screen without the need to go through the whole process of unlocking the phone, open the app, and then go to the order page. We've seen something similar to this in Android 16 Easter egg, but it only shows in the notifications shade with nothing on the lock screen so far. So I hope to see iOS implementation on Android 16 when it gets released. Beside those two, the number of lock screen shortcuts are very limited, plus it doesn't support apps. The only thing that might come in the future is the note-taking shortcut that I came across in one of the betas of Android 16. But it's nothing when compared to the massive list of options offered by the competition. Finally, I would like to see the ability to resize and reposition the clock. This one will be a nice to have feature as some clocks don't look good in the default size. For the rest of the customization options available on iOS and the One UI, like adjusting the font, the weight, the transparency, colors, etc., I think they are a bit too much for Pixel users' mindset. I used iOS and the One UI for years alongside my Pixel phones and never thought of touching any of these features. I'm sure that whoever chooses a Pixel is after the simplicity over the too many options. For me, all I need is an easy way to customize my lock screen, some useful information, the ability to take quick actions, and a good-looking wallpaper. Talking about the wallpapers, if you like any of the ones shown in this video, they are now available on the Wallpapers by In-Depth Tech Reviews app that you can find its Google Play Store download link in the description. Now let's talk about the home screen, and here Google has to do a lot of work. First, it doesn't support multi-selection. So if you want to organize your home screen, you have to move apps one by one. Imagine how time-consuming it could be. In contrast, iOS gives you the option to hold one app and multi-select others to move all of them in one go. Yes, it requires two hands, which I don't like, but it's still easier. One UI takes it even further. I can multi-select apps and move them with one hand, put them in a folder, remove or uninstall all of them at once. Number two is the lack of reordering and the hiding home screen pages. Imagine at any point of time if I decided to swap those two pages on my Pixel phone. My advice to you is to give up, because a simple task like this requires moving every single app and widget one by one between pages, which is crazy. And here's how you do it on iOS. 1, 2, and 3. On One UI, 1, 2, and 3. So 3 steps on the competition versus 100 on a Pixel. Not to mention that iOS and the One UI can delete home screen pages with few taps, while on a Pixel you have to do this. Number 3, the lack of hiding or locking apps on Android. On iOS, to hide or lock an app, just tap and hold on it, then tap Require Face ID, then it chooses if you want to lock only or lock and hide. The latter will lock and remove the app from your home screen and put it inside a hidden folder that can only be accessed using your Face ID. It's simple, easy, and keeps the same instance of your app. So everything remains the same. I don't like One UI's secure folder as it creates another instance of the app while keeping the original one the same, which doesn't make any sense. In contrast, you get the option to hide apps, but it has to be done through the settings, and to access the app again, you have to jump back to settings to unhide it, which is a very long process. On Android, there is no option to hide apps, and the newly added private space requires a long process to activate. Plus, it doesn't hide the actual app, it just creates another instance, same as the secure folder of One UI. And if you decided to use a separate Google account for your private space, every time you try to sign in, you will realize that all your login details are saved in your main account, so you don't have access to them, which make things even more complicated. After this long story, all I need is a simple lock and hide feature, same as iOS, that hide the same app I use and keep it somewhere safe. Please Samsung take a note as well. Number 4. Accessing notifications from the app shortcuts menu should be back. This feature used to make my life a lot easier. Currently, I have to pull the notifications shade, look for the app notifications, and then interact with them. Previously, it was much easier for me to access the app-specific notifications, so please Google, bring it back. Number 5. The widget stacking. This feature is available on iOS and One UI for so long. I think it's very useful. When you look at my home screen, you will see 3 widgets taking more than half the screen, but with widget stacking, I can merge all of them in one place and use this space to add more icons instead of creating another page for the rest of the apps I use, which is more efficient. I read somewhere that this feature might come to Android 16, so let's wait and see. Number 6, we need the ability to remove and customize the at a glance and Google search widgets. For a long time, people asked for this, but unfortunately it's not happening. I personally don't mind any of them, and I think they are very useful. But at least I want to be able to customize their looks. When you open the Google app widgets, you will find that we already have a much better looking versions of the same exact widgets. Look at the difference between the permanent at a glance and the one offered by Google app. It's a day and night difference. Plus, you can customize the way it looks even further. Similarly, the search widget of Google app is much better. You can customize the theme that includes 4 presets and a custom choice to make it your own. Adjust the transparency, and add one extra shortcut of your choice. None of these options are available on the permanent home screen widget, which is a bummer. Number 7 is a nice to have feature, which is the ability to double tap on an empty space to lock the phone like One UI. Even iOS support this feature in Assistive Touch or by using the back tap, and none of them are available on Android. So these are all the features I want to see coming to the home screen, but I also have a list of issues that need to be fixed. First, when I use the monochrome color palette under the Wallpaper and the Style app, it doesn't work nicely with the battery widget. The battery percentage text disappears as the font color matches the background. I recommend if Google can put the battery percentage inside the circular container, which will solve the issue. Secondly, some widgets have the edit option to change their style after the fact, like the clock widget for example, while Google Photos doesn't offer the same, which is inconsistent. In this case, I have to remove the widget and re-add it to change the style. Third, Google Home widget doesn't work with the battery saver mode. As you see here, once it's active, I get this error message when I try to do any action. And the last point in this chapter is the home bar. Till now we see this black or white bar at the bottom of the screen in some apps. Regardless, it's Google's or the developer's fault, but if Apple did it, then Google can. I'm not an Android developer to debate this, but I'm sure that Google can find a way. Next, the camera. First, I want to see the option to switch between the front and back cameras while recording videos, same as One UI. I reviewed budget phones that have this feature. They even have the option to record with both at the same time. Secondly, I would love to see Google giving extra attention to certain camera modes like blur videos that are only limited to 1080p with no front camera support, while Samsung and Apple flagships can record them using the front and back cameras in 4K. Third, slow motion videos. I didn't see an improvement in this area for so long. They are still limited to 1080p, while others do offer up to 4K 120 frames per second. So these are the features I want to see, but I have a long list of issues that never been fixed since forever. Number 1 on my list is the subject isolation in portraits. I don't know how hard is it to fix it, but Samsung and Google are miles ahead in this matter for many years, which doesn't make sense that Google still lags behind in this area. Not to mention that adding the blur effect in Google Photos using the normal editor or magic editor delivers impressive results. So if it's hard to fix this issue in the camera app, why don't you use Google Photos to do it instead? Portraits are also not supported at 1x or by using the telephoto lens, which is very unfortunate. We've been asking for this for so long, but still not here. The second issue is the lens switching in videos. I admit that it improved over time, but it's still behind the competition, especially when switching between the telephoto and any other lens. Third, the front camera videos. Even the latest models from Google like the Pixel 9 Pro XL and the 9a still struggle in front camera videos at night. They produce a lot of noise, and this is something everyone is talking about for so long. And lastly, the camera quality in social media apps. In my experience, it's inconsistent. Let's take Instagram as an example. At first, I reported big improvements in camera quality in my Pixel 9 Pro XL review, but after a while, Google added the Ultra HDR support to Instagram. Since then, the photos started to look weird. In this example, I took a photo using the 9 Pro XL that supports Ultra HDR in Instagram, and as you see, the contrast is too high to a point that the details in the shadows disappeared, while the Pixel 9a took a normal photo and produced better results. So that's everything about the camera. Now let me point out some random points that I hope to see addressed. The first one is the inconsistent expansion mechanism of the quick settings styles. I'm happy that Google unified most of them like the Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, screen recording, and more, but there are a couple still left behind. The first one is Quick Share. That doesn't expand inline like others, but it opens a floating card at the bottom of the screen after automatically collapsing the quick settings. The second one is Google Home, which opens a full screen view, and I hope to see them following the same behavior as other tiles. Another thing that I don't like is when I see these dated pages that look like Android Lollipop hidden under settings like the Cloud Media Storage page, when I customize my Google Photos screensaver, and more. The third one is when I reply to messages directly from the notification banner. When I receive another notification from the same app while typing, everything awkwardly disappears, which is an issue that I come across for so long. By this, I covered all the points that I think will make Android much better. Maybe I missed some, but you still can comment down below and let us know your thoughts. Once more, don't forget to share this video with whoever interested to make Android better. But for now, thanks so much for watching and see you in the next video.